God says, this message is not for the world, it is for you. Don't take it lightly. Don't assume this is just another word flowing across your screen. Heaven pressed this into you because your heart has been crying silently, because you have been pulled into a storm that you did not create, because you are caught between believing His love and questioning why she still exists in the picture. God says, I see the tears you refuse to shed in front of others. I see the questions that choke your heart at night when you ask yourself, if I am enough, why is there another? I see the silent breaking inside you when He says He loves you, but you feel the shadow of her presence still lurking. Don't skip this. Don't close your eyes to this truth. This is for you and you alone. God says, He's torn between two women, and one of them is you. And you think your role is to hold on, to prove your worth, to be patient until He chooses. But I tell you the truth, your worth was never supposed to be placed on the scales of His indecision. You are not a choice to be weighed. You are not a backup plan or a second option. I created you as the one and only, a crown of glory, not to be compared side by side with another. And yet, because of His fear, His weakness, or His selfishness, He has dragged you into a triangle that your soul cannot carry. God says, I did not design you to survive off crumbs when I made you to sit at a table of abundance. But I know you. I know your heart. You love deeply, you forgive easily, you believe in the goodness of those you love, even when they give you reasons to doubt. I know why you are here. You believe that your love can heal him, that if you just wait a little longer, he will see the truth of your worth and choose you completely. But I must tell you, my child, don't lose yourself in the waiting. Don't burn yourself out on a fire that he cannot even decide to keep lit. Love is not proven by how much you endure confusion. Love is proven by clarity, loyalty, and commitment. God says, you have mistaken his hesitation for destiny, but hesitation is not love. If he truly loved you, there would be no other woman to compare. He would have seen you, and in that seeing, he would have known you were the one. But instead, he divides himself. And every time he divides himself, he divides you. That is why your spirit feels torn, because you are carrying both his love and his betrayal in the same breath. That is why your heart aches, because you are both chosen and unchosen, wanted and doubted, loved and betrayed, all at the same time. God says, don't tell this to anyone, but I am speaking to you right now because you need strength to protect your heart. You need to stop thinking that protecting your heart means holding tighter to him. Protecting your heart means knowing when to release. Protecting your heart means refusing to stand in the battlefield where you were never meant to fight. Protecting your heart means stepping out of the triangle and choosing peace over chaos, choosing clarity over confusion, choosing yourself over his indecision. Listen closely. He may tell you he is confused, but confusion is not innocent. Confusion is a decision to keep two women in his life, because both serve him in different ways. And as long as you remain, he does not need to choose. As long as you endure, he gets to have love without loyalty, comfort without commitment. God says, "Wake up, my child. Stop carrying the burden of his weakness on your back." It is not your job to fix the heart of a man who is feeding from two tables. But God also says, "I know your fear. You fear that if you walk away, you will lose him forever. But let me tell you this: what is truly yours cannot be stolen by another. If he is yours, he will rise, he will pursue, he will stand, and he will choose without hesitation. If he is not yours, then no amount of waiting, no amount of tears, no amount of love will make him choose you. And if he is not yours, why do you break yourself trying to hold on to what was never promised to you? You think your heartbreak will destroy you, but I say your heartbreak will free you. It will open your eyes to love that is whole, to love that does not divide, to love that does not make you question your worth. And I will heal you. I will restore you. I will make your heart stronger than the storm it has walked through. You will not be left broken. You will not remain forgotten. You will not forever be the woman who waited while he lived double. I will write a new story for you, one where you are chosen without question, loved without condition, and honored without competition. God says, don't skip this truth. It is over for you if you continue to believe that loving him harder will make him love you better. That is not how love works. Love is not a game of endurance. Love is a revelation. Love is clarity. Love is knowing without doubt. You deserve that. You deserve more than being the woman who cries herself to sleep wondering if she is enough. You deserve to be the woman who sleeps in peace knowing she is chosen completely. And so, God says, protect your heart. Don't give it to a man who cannot hold it with both hands. Don't give it to someone who still entertains another while telling you that you are his world. A divided heart cannot love you the way you deserve. Stop trying to convince yourself otherwise. You already know this truth. You already feel it deep inside. You are not crazy. You are not overreacting. You are not insecure. You are seeing reality. You are being shown the truth. And I, the Lord, am confirming it to you right now because you asked me in your spirit for a sign, for a message, for a word. This is that word. Don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it. Don't explain it away. This is your lifeline. This is your warning. This is your healing. Protect your heart, my child. Let go before his confusion destroys the love you have for yourself. I will catch you. I will restore you. I will send a love that is true. This message is sealed for you. Heaven pressed it into this very moment. Do not skip it. Do not throw it away. God says, I am begging you to believe me, you are not meant to compete. You are meant to be chosen. God says, keep reading. Do not treat this like a comfort you can fold away and forget. This is not a gentle whisper for later, this is a trumpet blast meant to break the fog around your choices. Listen, the very thing that keeps you tethered to him is the small voice that says, "What if I lose him?" That voice is not the voice of courage, it is the voice of a future wound that is terrified of being immediate. Courage does not bargain with the soul. Courage steps out with dignity even when the ground trembles beneath it. You were made for courage. You were made to stand. God says, "There are practical ways to guard your heart that I want to place in your hands right now." First, remove secrecy. Secrets are the soil where betrayal grows. If there are calls late at night, accounts you don't know about, explanations that leave your stomach hollow, insist on truth. Not to trap him, but to reclaim your peace. Truth will not break you, lies will. Demand clarity not as an ultimatum meant to punish, but as a mirror meant to reveal reality. If he shrinks from that mirror, that is an answer. If he answers with clarity and true remorse and decisive change, do not confuse testing for immediate forgiveness. Watch the pattern, not the promise. God says, second, redefine your timetable. The calendar in your mind that says, "Wait one more month, one more year," is the thief of your life. Time spent waiting on a man who does not choose you is time stolen from the person you are becoming. Start listing what you will no longer postpone: your joy, your dreams, your friends, your self-care, the projects you shelved. Reclaim them one by one. When you reintroduce yourself to your own life, you knock the wind from the sails of indecision. A woman who loves herself is a lighthouse. She reveals to the wandering ship whether the shore is safe. God says, third, set sacred boundaries. Boundaries are not cruel, they are holy. They tell the world what you will accept and what you will not. If messages from her continue, if late-night excuses persist, if promises do not translate into action, create distance. Not as a punishment to manipulate, but as an altar of self-respect. Walk away from conversations that shame you into staying. Step back from environments that celebrate his indecision. Protect the space where your heart rests. This is prophetic. This is practical. This is love for yourself conveyed in action. God says, fourth, cultivate companions who hold you true. There are friends who will tell you what you want to hear and friends who will tell you what you need to hear. Invite into your circle those who speak truth with tenderness. Let go of those who normalize pain or who whisper that suffering is a measure of your devotion. Gather people who see the light inside you and will remind you of it when you forget. Pray aloud with them, laugh with them, create new memories that do not revolve around his confusion. Your life is not a waiting room, it is a celebration hall waiting to be filled. God says, fifth, speak to your future self. Close your eyes and imagine that woman, 5, 10 years from now, who looks back at this moment with compassion. What will she thank you for? What will she regret? Let that future woman write you a letter now, telling you to choose freedom, to choose honor, to choose a love that demands nothing less than wholehearted devotion. When you make choices for that future woman, you align with destiny, not fear. God says, do not mistake patience for passivity. There is a difference between waiting on the Lord and waiting on a man who refuses to stand. I am not asking you to abandon prayer. Pray. Pray until your heart is honest. Pray until the fear is named. Pray until the desire to be chosen is an offering, not a chain. But also act. Faith without boundaries can become the vehicle that carries you in circles. Faith with wisdom moves you forward. Ask me for clarity and then move with steady feet. God says, I see the little details that pain you, the way your phone lights up and your breath stops, the texts left unread because you are afraid to know. I see the nights you told yourself you were imagining it, and the mornings you woke with a hollow ache where confidence used to live. I am here to patch what's torn, not to keep you in a place where the tear can grow. Let my healing be the reason you reclaim dinner with friends, the reason you start that class you wanted, the reason you say no when you used to say maybe. Healing is not a destination you reach only after you have been chosen. Healing is a companion you should carry as you walk. God says, there is also a place for mercy in this story, but mercy must not be confused with resignation. If he returns and truly chooses, his actions will carry the weight of repentance, not just the sound of regret. Mercy that restores deserves a foundation rebuilt with trust, not the same cracked cement. If he asks for a second chance, give him a chance, but keep watch over the texture of his change. People who change for love show it openly and consistently. People who simply say they have changed but keep the same patterns are asking you to be the courage they lack. Do not volunteer for that role. God says, sometimes the bravest thing you can do is celebrate his leaving. When he chooses the other, do not treat your grief as failure. Grief is the honest response to loss. It is a sacred passage through which you purify what remains. Let yourself feel it fully without letting it define your worth. Cry like someone who believes sunrise still follows the darkest hours, because it does. In your grieving, ask me to sit with you, because I have been there before the tears fell. I will hold you in that quiet place and teach you how to rise again. God says, you were never an afterthought in my eyes. You were earmarked for blessing, for partnership, for a love that enhances your soul. The man who divides himself cannot be the vessel of all that I intended for you. This is not a curse, it is a divine reroute. I will not lead you to dead ends when there is a highway ready for you to travel. I will illuminate companions, doors, opportunities you cannot now see because your vision is clouded by a relationship that asked you to shrink. Prepare to expand. Prepare to receive. God says, pay attention to the quiet victories, the mornings you wake with less dread, the afternoons you laugh without forcing it, the evenings where you fall asleep without replaying texts in your mind. These are small resurrections. Each one is an altar where your dignity is rebuilt. Celebrate them. Keep a list if you must. When the temptation to return creeps in, read the list aloud. It will remind you that freedom is not an absence of pain, it is the presence of wholeness. God says, finally, know this, I am not angry that you loved. I am proud that you dared. I am not against romantic longing, I am against deception dressed as devotion. Your longing is holy because it points to the truth that you were made for love. Let that truth guide you, not a man's indecision. Let that truth lead you into a love where your name is spoken without hesitation, where your future is planned together, where your heart is not parceled out in secret. God says, take one step today. One small, fierce step. Send the message that honors you, or make the call that reclaims your time, or cancel the meeting that keeps you in limbo. One step is a sermon that the rest of your life can hear. I will go with you. I will guard you. I will restore you. God says, do not stop now. Keep reading because there are hidden strands of instruction that must reach the deepest places where your courage has been kept small. Hear this, your story is being rewritten even as you tremble. There are endings that look like loss and beginnings that look like grief. Both are true, and both carry seeds of resurrection. When a door closes, I am already widening the hallway that leads to something better. You may not see it yet, but I see it. I have already placed lights there for you. God says, begin to speak different words over yourself. Words shape reality. If you keep whispering, I am unchosen, you will live into that shadow. Instead, declare, I am worthy of undivided love. I will not bargain with my dignity. Say it until your mouth grows used to the truth and your heart learns to breathe in the new air. Speak it in the morning, in the middle of the day, before sleep. Let your words become the plumbing that carries holy confidence into every room of your life. God says, when you feel tempted to return, ask for one thing first, sincerity shown in action, not just in language. Ask for consistent evidence over a month, then over 3 months, then over a year if needed. Patterns do not change overnight, but they do change with persistent, visible effort. If he cannot show you that effort, if his life does not rearrange to match his words, then what he offers is still a story, not a covenant. Love that is covenantal rearranges life, it does not merely rearrange words. God says, guard your inner narrative. Too many women rehearse the worst versions of themselves in secret. I am fragile, I am used to being second, I am the one who tries harder. Replace those rehearsals with a new script, I am resilient. I choose rest. I deserve fidelity and joy. Write it on sticky notes if you must. Put it where you will see it, on the mirror, in your wallet, on the screen of your phone. Remind yourself that you are rewriting a history that once taught you to accept less. God says, do not isolate your pain. Isolation is a thief that will steal perspective and keep you small. Let someone in, not someone who will fan your wounds into martyrdom, but someone who will help you see the line between sacrifice and self-denial. Allow someone to walk beside you who knows how to hold love and truth in the same hands. This is not weakness, this is strategy. Even the bravest warriors go to camp to rest and plan. It is not glory to fight alone without supplies. God says, remember your body. Your body keeps score. Eat as though you believe you are worth the nourishment. Sleep as though your future needs you to rest. Move your body not to punish it but to strengthen the temple your spirit lives within. When your body is cared for, the decisions you make will be clearer, your boundaries firmer, your prayers deeper. Tend to yourself as if you were the beloved you long for. Begin now. God says, do not let social media lie to you. The curated moments you scroll through are not the sum of another person's intimacy. They are snapshots. Your worth is not measured by the public displays of someone who cannot decide between you and another. Refuse to let comparison steal your dignity. If scrolling causes you to shrink, step back. Protect your mind like you protect your heart. God says, expect a season of testing after you choose yourself. When you begin to live with boundaries, there will be pressure to return to the old chaos. Pressure will come disguised as guilt, as nostalgia, as the notion that love requires sacrifice. But holy sacrifice is not the same as annihilation. If what you gave has become your undoing, it is not sacrifice, it is compromise of the sacred. Hold firm. Let your yes be clear when you give it, not whispered under coercion. God says, you are allowed to celebrate small wins. When you do not answer at midnight, when you say no to a plan that keeps you in limbo, when you leave a conversation that shames you, celebrate. These are not small, they are revolutionary. Reward yourself. Buy the book you have wanted, say yes to the trip you deserve, let your laughter be loud and not borrowed. Pleasure is not the enemy of holiness, it is the fruit of a life that remembers it was made for delight. God says, if the man who divided himself returns, let your re-entry be cautious and wise. Do not leap from loneliness into longing. Demand proof, require changed patterns, and make your peace conditional on truth. Let forgiveness be present if repentance is genuine, but let trust rebuild slowly and visibly. You are not owed immediate restoration simply because someone says sorry. Restoration must be earned and kept, like a garden tended day by day. God says, there are spiritual practices that will anchor you. Keep praying, not as bargaining but as conversation. Read words that remind you of your worth. Sit in silence and let your chest unclench. Give thanks for what remains, the small and stubborn mercies of each day. Gratitude does not minimize loss, it steadies you in it. Make a practice of listing 3 things each night you are grateful for. This habit rewires your heart toward abundance and away from lack. God says, If you have children or responsibilities bound to this relationship, walk your steps with counsel. Protect your children's sense of security. Explain truth with age-appropriate tenderness. Do not use them as instruments to keep a man who cannot stay faithful. The legacy you leave them is what you teach by example, that self-worth is priceless and dignity is non-negotiable. God says, I will meet you in the quiet hours. When rage comes, hand it to me. When sorrow comes, let me cradle it. When shame tries to whisper that you deserve this, I will shout the opposite into your bones, you deserved better. I am the voice that will not let you forget your value. Lean in. Let me speak louder than the accusations of your past. God says, take another step tomorrow. Not a leap you cannot sustain, but a courageous inch. Each inch is a highway built under your feet. The road will widen. Your heart will grow used to being honored. And one day soon, perhaps sooner than you expect, you will stand in a place where the memory of this season serves you like a teacher, not a prison guard.